Have you ever asked yourself, I wonder what kind of computer I could build for absolutely no money whatsoever? Well, in front of us here is exactly that for me. Now, huge disclaimer, this is going to differ for everyone, obviously. So what I found in the recycling bin / garbage is not what anybody could find in the recycling bin. It just so happens that the company I work for frequently tosses out old computers and computer components, so I'm able to scrounge up parts fairly often for nothing. So this Dell tower that you see in front of me here is a prime example of that. It is total garbage by today's standards, however I can use the case. The internal components on it are dead. And the motherboard was out of an Asus desktop, small form factor desktop, also being thrown out. Had a bad hard drive, that's all that was wrong with it, so I was able to salvage the board. And for our video card, the GTX 770, that was just being tossed by a friend who upgraded their computer. So all of these parts here are essentially, they were originally destined for the recycle bin. So let's get these cleaned up, see what we can make out of them, and how well it performs, why don't we? Now, this card is going to require a little bit further or a little bit more extensive cleaning than the case. It has some rather interesting brown dust caked throughout the whole thing, so we're going to have to tear it completely down and probably wash the heatsink out because it's really packed in there. So let's go ahead and get that going. Normally I would just take this heatsink and run it through the dishwasher, but I really don't feel like waiting a couple of, well, days for it to dry out properly, so I just gave it a good wipe down, and it's a lot better. It's not perfect, but it's good enough for our purposes here, so let's get it reassembled. Overall, I'm really impressed with how this build turned out. Now, a lot of the titles we tested with weren't the most recent of games. However, they're still very popular, and they are something that you could definitely play on this kind of hardware. And I think that's really something more to aim for with this sort of build. You're not going to be playing the most demanding AAA titles at max settings at 4K. It's just not going to happen. So if you set your sights and your expectations proportionate to the type of hardware you have, you can have a lot of fun with it. And that's really the point of this kind of build. So if I was going to change anything with this, I would have probably, if you're going to spend some money on it, upgrading it, I would have put a 120 gig or 240 gigabyte boot SSD in there, keeping the same hard drive for game storage. That would make just a world of difference in performance. But aside from that, this thing has been performing really well. Now, it runs a little bit hot and the power supply makes a bit of noise because the fan's going bad. But hey, it was free. All the components were free. So what do you expect? You really can't go wrong. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed, give it a thumbs up and let me know what you think in the comments. And I would like to make more stuff like this in the future. So stay tuned.